Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna do some like late night crafting. Okay, the kids are in bed, but I've had this idea to do like a really cute Valentine's Day shirt, like matching shirts for the kids and for myself. So I'm gonna walk you guys straight through it. Hopefully this will just walk you like step by step in making a shirt with Cricut. So I've done other Cricut videos here on my channel. I've loved using mine. I am not a crafty expert by any means, but this past year I've started to kind of play around with the Cricut. I have the Explore 2. I think that's the one that it is. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, but I have everything pretty much that I need for these shirts here out on my desk. So I've got some heat transfer vinyl here, which is not Cricut vinyl. This is all stuff that I get from Amazon, so I'll link it for you guys in case you need some vinyl and you don't want to get the Cricut ones. I have my mats over here. I have a sweater that I'm going to make for me, and then these are the ones that I'm going to use for the kids. So the kids are going to have red shirts with white design. I'm going to have white shirt with red design. I've got my heat press mat. Again, I don't even know the correct terms for this thing, but I've got this. So anyway, we're gonna get right to work. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I'm gonna just show you what Cricut Design Space looks like. I already have the design in mind, but I'll show you like if we were starting from scratch in case you guys just want to follow along. Right, so this is Cricut Design Space. This is where you go to make all your designs. I already have the one in mind that I'm gonna do, but just so we can start it from scratch, I'm gonna go to New Project over here, and then I'm gonna go to Images. And I'm gonna search in images. So you could look in here and type in like heart, and you would get like a whole bunch of different like images that you can put on a shirt. You know, you could just have the word heart. You could have different hearts. That's not what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go to this one. Let's see if it comes up with besties. Yeah. So I wanna use this design. I thought that this would be really cute for something for us, like for me and the kids. So I'm gonna click add to canvas over here. And that is going to be my design. So before I cut it out with the Cricut, I do want to measure it, because if you're new to Cricut Design Space and whatnot, this little number up here is telling you in inches like how big the design is. So I don't want to, you know, have it cut out something that's the wrong size. So to do that, I have like a little measuring tape thing here, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. I'm gonna do the kids shirts first, I think. So I'm gonna take their shirts, and my kids are in a 2T and a 4T, so like the sizing shouldn't vary too much. And I'm gonna just like measure out across their chest like how big I think that design should be. So I want it kind of large, you know, like right up there in the chest. So I think if it's like 7 inches wide, that should be okay. 7 and 6 I feel like would be pretty decent. So again, just trying to like figure out how big I want the design to print. Obviously I don't want to make it too big, because then it doesn't fit on the shirt, or too small might look a little bit odd. So just doing a little bit of measuring on my end here. See, mine obviously is a bigger canvas, so mine can be bigger. So mine I might even make like 12, like the maximum that I can put on my mat. So we'll see, but let's start with the kids. So now that I know that I want to make it like 7-ish, I can click on this little arrow down here, and you see how like the numbers are going down. I think if I make it like that, that's close enough to like the measurements that I want. So that's good. So now it's very simple. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit make it over here, and I am gonna be using a mat. I'm gonna put the vinyl on a mat because this is not smart vinyl. This is just like regular heat transfer vinyl, and my goodness, my desk is super messy, so do not judge me. So before I put this vinyl into the Cricut, which I should open at this point, I do need to put it on a mat. So I'm gonna grab one of my mats, and all that this mat is doing, if you're new here, is it's getting this vinyl to stick onto something so that when you put it in the machine, it doesn't like go all over the place, so you can get a nice clean cut. So this is a brand new roll from this company that I get my vinyl from. So far, like I haven't had any major issues with it. But let me just roll it out, and I'm just gonna put it straight onto my mat. I'm also at this point gonna like measure it and make sure that I'm not putting like too much vinyl on this that I don't need. Some people do this, other people just like leave it on the mat. This is fine, I can cut it. So I'm just gonna cut it along down here, because I know that it's gonna be no more than like 6 inches down. This is not precise at all, so if you're like, you know, triggered by my not precise cuts, I'm very sorry. So once I've like cut this vinyl to like the size that I want it, the glossy side of the vinyl, like if you've never seen vinyl before, you've got like a glossier side. Hope you guys can see that. And then there's a matte side. The glossy side is gonna go face down on your mat. Don't ask me why, but that's just how it is. So I'm gonna make sure that the glossy side is face down on my mat and that the corners just kind of add up and line up and everything is nice and straight. And then I'm just gonna press down on the mat. And again, I'm not using like a tripod here, so forgive me, but I'm just making sure that this is nice and pasted like on my mat. And of course, like I've got like hair on my mat. Like this is not the most beautiful mat. I'm very sorry. So now that it's nice and flat, I can feed it into the machine, and then we're just gonna follow the prompts on the computer. I did move like the Cricut itself a little bit away from the wall, because since you're gonna feed this through here, you don't want like your mat to then like, you know, touch the wall, and then it's just gonna like push back and it's not gonna be able to feed the whole thing through. So anyway, going back to the computer, all you're gonna do is like, it's asking you like, how are your materials being loaded? So in this case, a mat, and then this is the design that we're gonna be cutting out. Here, all you're doing is like telling the machine like where on that green mat your design is. Like if you wanted to put it in the middle, you could move it around. For mine, I can just leave it where it is, and then you do want to hit mirror over here on the side. You wouldn't hit mirror like if you were making a regular mug or anything like that, but for t-shirts, you do want it to be mirrored. And then over here, it's just asking you which materials you're using. So we're using everyday iron-on, and it tells you, like everything's very user-friendly, which I really appreciate. Like make sure that mirror is turned on, and the iron-on material is face shiny side down, which we did, so that's good. And then now all we have to do is, you see the little light is blinking over here. When we hit it, it's basically just gonna measure to make sure that we have enough material. You see, and it's still kind of like hitting against the wall, so I might have to move it up a little bit. It's just measuring to make sure that you have enough material to cut your design. And then it's gonna say press go. So this little play button over here is blinking, and now it's gonna cut the design. So I found that this machine cuts super fast, and I'm making two for the kids, like I'm making one for each kid, so I could have done both designs on the same mat probably. I could have fit them both, but I'm just gonna show you one doing this process, and then I'll go back and I'll do the other ones. But really fast, I'm just trying to not cut, you know, cut the video so you guys can see like how long it takes to cut this. And then over here, like the computer, I always have like my computer right next to my design. Some people though will use their iPads, and they'll put their iPads like right here, which, you know, you could also do that. And we're done, right? Yep, we are done. So I'm gonna click this, and now I have my design. Do you see how there's like little cuts in the vinyl? So that means that it did its job. So now we have to start weeding, which is a totally different process. This is one of my favorite parts, like depending on the design. If it's a very intricate design, it can be kind of annoying, but most of the time I do like to do this part. And basically what weeding means is you're cutting out the pieces of the vinyl that you don't want on your design. Like you're cutting out all of the excess, if that makes any sense. So I'm just gonna cut the parts of this that are like the scrap pieces, like the stuff that's not gonna go on the shirt. And I do have like all of my scraps that I keep, because we are not wasty kind of people here. I like to save all my scraps because vinyl is very expensive. But this is what I'm gonna work with here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna remove the parts that I don't want on the shirt, like I said, with my little weeder tool, the thing that looks like you're going to the dentist and they're gonna freaking take out all your cavities and stuff. But this should be rather simple. I do want to just make sure that I know exactly what I'm removing here. In this design, I'm keeping the white vinyl of like the actual heart, so I'm removing, it's kind of like different than some of the other designs that I've done. So I'm keeping like the big white heart, but then I've got to like cut out these letters and like weed out the letters that I don't want on the shirt. So it's kind of like opposite of what I've normally done. So we're gonna do all of that. Shouldn't take too long. The design is nice and large. And then once we do this, then we can go ahead and just get it on the shirt. All right, and there we go. So now we've got exactly what we're gonna put on the shirt. So let me show you that. Let me just clean off my desk a little bit. Okay, so I know I don't have like the most space here on my desk, but we're gonna make it work. So I've got the easy press here, and then I've got the design that we are going to literally just be like ironing on here, pressing it down here. This is gonna look so cute. I'm very excited about it. And then I've got Jackson's shirt here. I've got the little mat, so we're not like pressing extreme temperatures onto my wooden desk. So we've got that. So what I'm gonna do is I've already got this plugged in. I'm gonna turn it on and I'm gonna set this to the temperature that I want. And to figure out the temperature, you can go to, like, you can go online to like Cricut Easy Press Temperature Guide. I'm pretty sure that this is 365 for 30 seconds. And then I'm gonna press Cricut and it's gonna kind of like start preheating it, kind of like if you were preheating an oven. But there is a guide that walks you through the temperature, so it's nothing to be scared about. It's very easy. So while this heats up, what I like to do is I like to prepare my shirt, and that means usually just like getting a lint roller, making sure that the surface is nice and clean, that there's not like a bunch of like random like hairs and stuff on it. And then I'm gonna like center my design. So obviously this depends on like how precise you have to be. Like, these are my kids' shirts, not like I'm selling them, so they don't have to be perfect. Honestly, like if I wasn't even making this video, I probably wouldn't be doing this and measuring it out. But I do have these little like guides that I bought on Amazon that I'll link for you guys if you want something that kind of helps you to, like, you know, level things and kind of helps you center things. This might be something that you might use while you get the hang of it. So all I do is I kind of just like align it with like the neck piece. Kind of tells me where the center is, so I have like a visual guide, and so it's not like, you know, lopsided and all of that. And then I just figure out where I'm gonna want this to be on the shirt, and I think that should be pretty good. And then once this is heated up, then we can press it. Okay, so now that this is at 365, again, check the guide, and it's gonna, you know, walk you through like what material you're using. So it tells you like how long and at what temperature, but I'm pretty sure that this should be fine. I am using this vinyl that tells me, like, it has like a little application instructions, which are different than using the Cricut vinyl. So I don't know, it might be a little bit too hot, but we're gonna try it out. I've used this vinyl before, and it hasn't really given me a hard time. Let me actually put the camera down so that I don't like burn myself in the process. But now I'm just gonna put this right on top, and I'm gonna put pressure on this. This machine also has like a little countdown guide if you wanted it to like just start. If you press like the little green Cricut, it'll count down like the timer for you, so you don't have to set like a separate timer. And if you can see that, you see like the seconds are going down, so that's kind of nice. But I'm just pressing it down and making sure that the entire design is getting, you know, transferred, and that heat is being added. And like I said, this might be a little bit hot for this one. The shirt is red too, so the shirt, like whenever you do stuff like that on a red shirt, you're gonna get like this weird like line, and you know, you kind of see like the different colors of red. That's gonna go away. That's just like the heat on the shirt. This vinyl says to let this cool for 45 seconds, so I'm gonna let it cool before I try to remove this. But it kind of depends on what vinyl you use. Some of them you can just kind of like rip it off, sometimes slowly, like it's better to like rip it off slowly. And then the design, if you did it right, then like the white piece is gonna stick onto the red shirt. But I'm just gonna give it just like those 45 seconds to kind of cool down, and then we'll see if we did it correctly. All right, so this is always the part that's pretty satisfying to watch if we did it correctly. So you're just gonna peel this off, and I'm hoping that it's still focusing the camera. And it looks like everything that needed to transfer has transferred. And there we go. We have the cutest little shirt. So what do you guys think? I think that this is adorable. Again, like the different colored reds, it's gonna fade away as it like goes like cooling off. But that is Jackson's shirt. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna speed through like me making the other ones. But tell me that that is not like the cutest little Valentine's Day shirt. So what's nice about like making multiples of shirts, like let's say that you were making like matching shirts like this, or you were making shirts for your family, or you were planning like a Disney trip or something like that where you were making multiple shirts, is that once the design, like the hardest part honestly is like making the design on the computer, picking what you want on a shirt and like finding whatever fonts you want and like finding which design you want to use. Once it's done, like once it's designed, then you can just make it over and over again, and it's just a matter of preparing the materials so that you can cut it. And once you get the hang of it, like it's very, very easy. I remember when I was very, very new to Cricut, like as of just a few months ago, everything seemed super foreign. I was like, this is too many materials, like I'm not a crafty person, I can't do this. I promise you, if you are watching this, you can do it, because I did it and I had no previous experience in anything like this. So I spent a lot of time watching tutorials, so if you're watching this one, then that is a good place to start. And then just getting like more familiar with the materials, with like the process, learning things like, you know, the glossy side goes facing down, all of that, like things that I tried to walk you through today. So I'm gonna prepare my mat with Jackson's or with Riley's design, so another one with the white, and then all I have to do is like I have 2 mats, so I'm gonna prepare the red material, which is gonna be for my shirt. And then once I do that, then the rest of the process is very fast because it's just a matter of going on into the computer and following all the prompts and all of that I showed you. So I always find is like the hardest part is the initial design, and then like doing what I'm doing now, which is like, all right, what color vinyl are we using? Let's put it on the mat, let's get it set up, let's cut it, all of that. The rest is very easy. It would also be a little bit easier too if I had like more space, if I had like an official craft room, if I had like an official, you know, like desk where I could have my materials in one place, a heat press somewhere else. But I am doing the best that I can with, you know, what I got here. All right, so for Riley's, this is gonna be exactly the same size, all of that. I'm not even gonna touch it. So I'm just gonna hit make it one more time. The same thing that I showed you last time, make sure that it's mirrored, continue, and then we're gonna put that material right into the machine. Okay, so the other kids one is done, but then I want to go back in here for mine because like I said, the size is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to pull on this till it gets to about 12. I'm going to make it as big as it'll fit on the mat. So maybe we'll do like 11-ish to be safe because like the mat length is 12. So we'll do like 11, see if it can do that. I'll hit make it. Tell it again that it's on the mat, so it'll fit on the mat. It should. Sometimes like if it's too wide, it's not gonna let you do it. So just keep that in mind. It's mirrored, we've got that going, and then I can just go ahead and do the same stuff. I'm gonna put in this red one. My mat is not as sticky, so that might be a problem. I should like clean this and get it stickier. So let me see if I can do something about that. Alright, so normally you don't want your vinyl like sticking up like that, but I got away with it just because the design like kind of ended here and just like the design itself, you know, allowed it to happen. But you can see how the machine cut out like the little lines, cut out the design. So I'm gonna put this away because we're done with the actual machine. And now we're just gonna weed them both and do the whole transfer process. So I'll do like a little time lapse and you guys can see that happen. Oh, and by the way, I didn't use this the first time that I did Jackson's design, but this is like the best, handiest, like little weeder tool, especially if you're weeding out a design that has like a lot that you're weeding. This is great. I'll link it down below. I got it on Amazon. You just put it on your fingers like this. It's like a freaking ring pop. And then what you're doing is basically like, this one, I don't have to use it too much because of the fact that everything is so big. But if I had like tiny little pieces, then I'd go weeding it. And then as I went weeding it, essentially what you'd do is you'd be putting it in here and then like taking it out so that you're not just like randomly throwing vinyl pieces like all over your desk and like trying to get it to unstick. So it is very handy for like maybe not this kind of project because everything is so big, but I've used it a ton. Like when I was making ornaments, when I've made mugs in the past, it's been very, very handy. So I highly recommend these. Okay, so I am going to tell you guys that because this shirt is bigger and the design is bigger, the entire design doesn't fit on like the surface of the heat press, right? Like when I press this down, the entire design is not being covered. So I'm going to use this several times. Like I'm going to go over the design in different areas to make sure that all of it is getting, you know, pressed with the heat. Hopefully that makes sense. But normally with like some of the smaller designs, you can get it all like in that 1 30-second you know, time. But if it's a bigger design, then you have to go in like several times. So that's something that you just want to kind of keep in mind. There we go. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna let it kind of cool down for 45 seconds. But the red that you see here is also a little darker than how it's gonna, you know, look like once it's cooled down. So that's something also, like, you don't have to freak out. It's not like it's the wrong color or anything like that. I'm just gonna peel this off. And there have been times, believe me, where like I do this and not all of the vinyl is sticking. So if that happens, like, don't be like afraid. Sometimes you just have to go back with the heat and just make sure that all of the vinyl is sticking. This looks pretty good. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's like just for me. Okay. This is awesome. It came out exactly how I wanted. So let me show you with like all of them side by side. So there we go. That is the finished product. What do you guys think? I think that they are adorable. Like so cute. You could do this the opposite, right? You could do like a red shirt for you with the white letters for the shirt, or reverse. I just used whatever I had. And the shirts themselves, I'm gonna tell you, for most of my blanks, I get them at Walmart because they're so cheap. These are the Granimals brand from Walmart that are like $4 for the t-shirts. And then that is a Walmart Time and True sweatshirt that was like $7.98 or something. So I just, you know, totally upcycled them and made them look so much more expensive. If they're available online, I'll link them, because sometimes like you have to go to the store to see like what they have. But just go like to the kids section for like the Granimals t-shirts. They have like the plain shirts, at least in my Walmart, like the times that I've gone. But let me actually try on my sweatshirt to see what it looks like, and you guys can get an idea of what it looks like on a person. And yeah, that's officially my new favorite sweatshirt. I think it's gonna look so cute, especially like matching with the kids. So I love it, and I feel like that was a very good use of a night. You know, like it's like 10 o'clock at night now. Did some late night crafting, but it was worth it. So I hope that that was helpful. You guys can make the same exact thing. Like I used a design that you can get right off of Cricut Design Space. So it's not like an SVG file that you have to buy. If you have access to Design Space, I'm pretty sure that you have access to use that. I'm hoping it's not one that you have to purchase, because I know that there's also like some that you have to like buy. But even if it's one of the ones that you have to buy on Cricut Design Space, they're usually like 99 cents or something like that. So not super expensive. But here's something that you would totally see on Etsy, something that I could have very easily paid like $30 for. I made it off of a $7-8 sweatshirt and vinyl that I had. So I'm very proud of myself. I think it looks super cute. So that is it, my friends. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to see more Cricut tutorials on my channel, let me know. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know in the comments what you want to see me do next. If you don't want to see any more things about Cricut, then I'm very sorry. But maybe you still want to hang around and be my friend here. I do a lot of like motherhood and lifestyle videos, vlogs. You know, I've got 2 toddlers and we're running around like crazy people all day trying to stay sane. So I'd love to have you stick around too, be my friend, subscribe, all of that. And that is it. Now I'm gonna go to sleep. So thank you for watching. I love your freaking faces. Thank you for being here. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.